Adam Silver also said Thursday night in an interview on TNT's Inside the NBA that there is a chance that older coaches won't be able to be on the bench due to health concerns when the league resumes play. Now, Silver's comments received instant pushback. In a statement that came out later Thursday night, Mavericks coach Rick Carlisle, he's president of the NBA Coaches Association, he said he spoke with Silver, who admitted he might have jumped the gun, saying that publicly. Now, Alvin Gentry told our Ramona Shelburne, quote, "At the end of the day, they're in the league. They're going to make the choice. I think it's unfair if that's what they're doing. I understand the risk that I'm taking if I do get it. But hell, I want to be with my team and do my job. That's what they hired me for." First of all, Tracy, that is the Alvin Gentry you and I both know, right? But where are you on this? Do you think it would be smart for coaches like Alvin, like Greg Popovich, who's 71, Mike D'Antoni, who is 69, to travel to Orlando?
I mean, let's be honest. What is the NBA at this time of the year without Greg Popovich on the side? Yep. Without Mike D'Antoni on the sideline? Are you kidding me? Like, how do we move forward and we can't allow the greatest coach, in my opinion, of all time to have a chance to coach his team? I mean, why are we doing this if Greg Popovich and, you know, the older coaches can't be there? It's unfair to them. It's unfair to their team, their organization. When you have these young coaches will have, you know, their whole coaching staff. And let's take, you know, some of the assistant coaches that might not be able to be on the sidelines. It's unfair to those teams that have their entire coaching staff with, you know, some of these older coaches won't be able to be there. I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe if they're able to wear a mask on the side, which I think they should, then they should be on the sideline. But, you know, to not have Greg Popovich and Mike D'Antoni coaching their teams, as a player that's playing for them, I would be pissed.
Hey, Mac, I'm with you, brother. I mean, but listen, if that's the case, then half of the coaching staffs, half of the head coaches wouldn't be able to coach their team, because you look at a guy like even Doc Rivers, he's not a spring chicken, he's 58 years old. You look at Brett Brown, he's 59 years old. Terry Stotts, I mean, it's only a handful of coaches that are young. So at the end of the day, I just want to see Adam Silver and what army try to stop these coaches from coaching. It's just not going to happen. And, you know, they're very passionate. And to say, like, you'll take Mike D'Antoni off the bench and have him coaching, you know, basically from the locker room, it would be unfair to give an advantage to another ball team. So you can't do it. And just to another point, listen, although Mike D'Antoni and Greg Popovich and all these other coaches, Rick Carlisle, although they are up in age, these guys are still in great shape. They're not your typical 70-year-old or typical 65-year-old. These guys work out every day. Their immune system is working just fine. They'll be perfectly fine. Put them on the bench and let them do their job.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, not just the head coaches. We got to include some of the assistant coaches. These assistant coaches have great influence on players and on coaches on the decision-making during games. So, I mean, I just think it will be unfair if some of these coaches can't be on the bench, you know, having an influence and impact on the game with their team.
You guys are speaking the truth. These are all exactly the right points to be making. I do want to note what Adam said, the sound that we played at the top of the show where he said basically we're choosing from a bunch of unfair options. That's true when we're discussing the bottom 8 teams who I know are upset. They were left out of the Orlando scenario. And it is going to be true in the coming weeks to some extent when we discuss safety protocols. This is an unfair virus. Ask Karl Anthony Towns. It affects older people, people with underlying health conditions disproportionately. And the CDC recommends those people act differently than others. Now, saying that, I completely support Alvin Gentry or Greg Popovich or Mike D'Antoni or any coach who wants to make the decision for himself what he wants to do. If they want to disregard those recommendations, they should have the right to do that. It's their health. It's their bodies. But everyone keeps saying, oh, I'm sure the NBA is going to make it as safe as possible. And so the league office probably at least has to make the recommendation, and maybe even publicly. So if someone like Alvin decides to do otherwise, and again, I think it's him who should be allowed to make that decision. But if he does, I do understand why it has to be clear that that is on him and not the league. We will have a lot of these discussions for the next coming week. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.